Here's solutions to the second perfect problem for Math 60. Just given a huge mess. I don't think anyone would argue that that's just not a huge mess of algebra. What we want to do is simplify it. It gives us a little hint of what the answer is. You probably Google this and look it up. My beloved Oakland A's won 8 of their last 9 games this year to capture the American League West crown. So hopefully our answer down here will be 8, but we'll see. Okay, so you have a couple options on how you do this. I think my advice would be to first look inside each of these sets of parentheses and combine any like terms. So what I mean by that is in this third set of parentheses, we have a 3 and a negative 33. So we could put those together and call that negative 30. The 3 and the negative 33 here because they're like terms. They're both constants. They're both numbers. They don't have x's with them. Kind of by that same logic, we can put stuff together inside these parentheses. And while we're here, we can take advantage of the fact that multiplication is commutative. If you multiply something, what I have in the parentheses, times something else, this fraction, that's the same as multiplying this fraction times what's in the parentheses. So I could write this like that, maybe a little bit neater, which will make it a little bit easier to see the distribution. So again, combining like terms here, I got a 5 and a 4 gives me 9, and an x, 1x minus 10x is negative 9x. And I think if you simplify to here, it's not quite as bad. What we're going to do in the next step is some distribution. We're going to take this 2 and multiply it by both of those terms. We're going to take this negative 4, be careful there, it's not a 4, it's a negative 4. Multiply it by both of those. Same idea here, negative 1/2 to both of these. And then finally, positive 1/3 to both of these. So if we go through and do that, 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 2. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Sorry about that. Trying to watch football and make the video at the same time is a bad idea. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Negative 4 times negative x is positive. A negative times a negative is a positive 4x. That one's a little bit tricky. Be careful. Make sure you're distributing this negative 4 to both of these terms. That will trip a lot of people up. Now we're going to distribute negative 1/2 to both of these terms. Negative 1/2 times 10x is negative 5x. Maybe I'll have to write that out on the side where that comes from. And negative 1/2 times negative 30, and negative times a negative is a positive, and 1/2 times 30 is 15. Maybe I'll do that like as a little note off to the side. Note, negative 1/2 multiplied by 10x. We could think of that as negative 1/2 times 10x divided by 1. It's easier to multiply a whole number and a fraction if you think about them both as fractions. If you have them both as fractions, it's easier. You just multiply across. So we got a negative, and then 1 times 10x is 10x, and then 2 divided by 1 is 2, which we could simplify as negative 5x. I guess another option would have been, or this right here, we could cancel out. We could say 10 is 2 times 5, x. And so what we can do is cancel out this. Maybe I need to switch colors so it doesn't get too messy. Cancel out this 2 right here and this 2 right here. And what we get is negative 5x divided by 1, which is just negative 5x. So I'll just kind of circle this off to the side just in case it's helpful for people. Maybe now I'll get back to the problem. So where were we? We took care of this one. We haven't done this one yet. Kind of by similar logic to what I have down here, I'm going to take 1/3 and multiply it by 9. That gives me is 9/3, which is 3. And 1/3 times negative 9x gives me negative 9x over 3, which I could write as negative 3x. And now what I got to do is combine like terms. You can combine like terms exactly how it's written now, but it might help you a little bit to move some pieces around. We got 4x plus 4 more x from this guy, minus 5x from this guy, and minus 3x over here. And then we got minus 2, minus 8 from over here, plus 15, and plus 3. Then if you add things together, you get 4 plus 4 is 8, minus 5 is 3, minus 3 more is 0. So 0x. Negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10, plus 15 is 5, plus 3 is 8. And when you have 0 of x, you don't even write it, we just write 8. So my final answer here would be 8, which sure enough, I'll put a little check mark by it because I happen to know that the A's won 8 of their last 9 games this season. So I guess that's the end of this perfect problem.